As we continue reporting on the protests in Nigeria, I'm joined now by Open Society Fellow on Investigative Reporting at the Wits University, Egwu. Patrick, it was a horrific night, devastating, in fact, brutal night, if you ask me, seeing the scenes coming out of Nigeria, where protests began really as a peaceful protest. It ended up being quite deadly for many in Nigeria. We are seeing, of course, the rise now of the hashtag EndSARS protest emerging everywhere. I mean, even in at the Nigerian embassy in the UK, there were protests there. There were protests here in South Africa. It is beginning to gain momentum, is it not? Good evening, Patrick.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I can tell you that I'm very angry right now. I'm not happy at all, especially with the horrific scenes that we saw yesterday. Not only yesterday, but even today, across Nigeria, peaceful protesters with just their flags and singing the national anthem were shot at by soldiers who were deployed by the state government after a curfew was, declared in Lagos State, the largest commercial city in Nigeria. And, the death toll has increased. Right now, according to Amnesty International, more than 50 people have been killed. Just a couple of days ago, it was just about 15 people, but now more than 50 people. I think 56 people have been killed, according to Amnesty International, that have, they've been keeping tabs on the death toll. So that's the latest development presently in Nigeria. Soldiers were deployed by the government to the streets, to stop the peaceful protest by, peaceful demonstrators who, the only thing that their only demand, they don't even want anything from the government. Their only demand is just to live, the right to live, the right to go about their duties without being intimidated, the right to move about, without being harassed by the policemen, the right to, have tattoos or to live their life the way they want to live without being harassed, by the policemen. And that's the situation now. They've asked for reform. They've been begging the government, calling on the government, raising their voices for the government to embark on reform, embark on, arresting and prosecuting police officers who have killed many hardworking Nigerians over the years. That's the only demand that they've been asking. And you could see how the government turned back at them to, deploy soldiers to the streets, to deploy armed policemen to attack peaceful protesters. I can tell you that the scene that I've been seeing since yesterday has been really traumatic. Yeah. I've got people back at home. I have family, I have friends who have been, directly affected by this development.
Yeah. How do you respond and what do you make of the reaction from the powers that be? I mean, for example, you look at the protest here in South Africa, the High Commissioner literally took the memorandum and left without even addressing the protesters, which really angered them quite a bit. You look at the fact that the president, even to this point, has not come out to say how he feels about what has happened and how he let this happen. But then you're also seeing the kind of denials that you're seeing from the military coming out on Twitter saying, well, all these videos are fake news.
Multiple accounts at the scene of the shooting in Lagos yesterday, saw military men, come to the scene. More than 20 military men come to the scene, shooting at them when they were just holding the flag and singing the national anthem. Videos making the round on social media, showed soldiers, come to the scene and shooting at peaceful protesters. And the soldier is such, I don't know how to describe it for the soldiers to come out to deny that there was no confrontation with protesters. When we can see the videos, when we can see the pictures, trending on social media. And more than 24 hours after the shooting, the president hasn't come out to address Nigerians on national TV. And that's the, the most annoying part for Nigerians currently right now. Nigerians on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook are asking, do we really have a president? He has been mute all this while. He only sends his media advisors to release statements on Twitter, but that's not what Nigerians want. That's not what the demonstrators want. They want to see that we have an active president, to come and respond to them. All over the world, even in the UK and here in South Africa, in Pretoria, where a protest, held today at the Nigerian High Commission in Pretoria, the High Commissioner, Nigerian High Commissioner in South Africa, didn't even come out to address, demonstrators. He only came to take the memorandum and, he left the scene. And it keeps, making matters worse, not only for the Nigerian government, but for protesters and demonstrators who feel that we have a government, we elected, a government to represent us, but whenever there's crisis, whenever it is time for the government to come and stand and, speak to citizens to calm, tension down, presently the soldiers are still in the streets, the military police are still in the streets, shooting, peaceful protesters, that are going about their duty. Sure. And I can tell you that the scenes are very, horrific and traumatic.
Now, Patrick, we've seen solidarity coming from various quarters, including faith-based organizations, leaders of faith-based organizations coming out, issuing statements, condemning the scenes that we saw last night in Lagos. Do you think this is going to slow down the #EndSARS movement in any way?
One thing I know that the government was going to take, a desperate measure to stop the peaceful demonstrators, and that was, to declare curfew, like we saw yesterday. Even today, some, state governments across Nigeria are, declaring, curfew and banning movement and all that. But even beyond that, on social media, Nigerians are still, protesting. They are still calling for their demands. Faith organizations have, come out to call on the government to end the crackdown on peaceful protesters. The UK government, the United States government, we saw Hillary Clinton, we saw Joe Biden, releasing statements and calling on the government to stop the use of excessive force on peaceful demonstrators. But I don't think that's going to solve anything. I believe even faith organizations, their statements, I don't think it's going to, because there's anger in Nigeria. Nigeria yesterday and even today was turned into a killing field by, soldiers that were deployed to the streets to stop the protest. If you go on social media now, shootings are still happening, across Nigeria by soldiers, and it has made matters worse. This thing is not going to stop, the movement. It has now turned into a global movement, and Nigerians, they want their demands to be met. They want the police, the whole police system to be reformed. They want, officers who have killed Nigerians, hardworking Nigerians, who have tortured Nigerians to be held to account. And this thing, they haven't been done. The police hierarchy, they know where these policemen are. They know how to find them. They know how to, begin to arrest them, to start to arrest them and prosecute them so that, Nigerians will say that, okay, we are getting justice that we deserve. We are, our brothers who have been killed can now rest in peace. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to help. The statement by the faith-based organization is not. It will only put pressure on the government. That's the only thing. Yeah. But the demonstrators are still, on social media, calling for change that they want, calling for reform, calling for the prosecution of officers who have killed Nigerians over the years and are still killing Nigerians as I speak with you right now.
Well, the authorities ordering an investigation into the killings last night. Do you think that is going to amount to anything?
Nigerian government and authorities, police hierarchy, they are used to releasing statements. They are used to forming committees and panels, but it will only amount to nothing. I don't think it's going to amount to anything because we have seen panels in the past. We have seen committees, 10-man committees and all that in the past without, bringing any useful outcome in the end. So I don't think it's going to stop the movement. I don't think Nigerians and the demonstrators have never believed, the government or the police hierarchy before. There's lack of trust. There's lack of accountability mechanism in the police force. So it will just amount to nothing at the end of the day. Or maybe let's just see, we can only give them the benefit of the doubt to see if this ongoing protest, not only in Nigeria, but around the world will, put them, under pressure for them to deliver. The European Union, they've, called on the government to halt, the crackdown on peaceful protesters. The UK Parliament are reacting, and other politicians around the world are reacting. So we can only wait and see. But what I can say is that there's lack of trust, there's lack of integrity, there's lack of honesty, there's lack of accountability in the whole police force. The police believe that they can just wake up and shoot anyone. They will even tell you that they will kill you and nothing will happen. And nothing will happen at the end of the day.
All right, Patrick, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. That's Patrick Egwu from Open Society, fellow on investigative reporting at Wits University.